If you can't get yourself to stop eating food and stop binge eating, this video is for you. This is part 2 of my previous video called Food Addiction Almost Ruined Me, my story. If you haven't watched that video yet, go watch it. I will link that in the description. It tells the story of how I became addicted to a certain restaurant food, and for emotional and spiritual issues and reasons, I was just eating too much food and basically gained 40 pounds in the course of 3 years. It almost ruined my life. It almost caused me to lose everything, and it was devastating. So in this video, in part 2, I'm going to dive deeper into the solution of what I actually did. So there was not actually one thing that I did. There were several things that I did, and I'll be talking about all of those in this video. So if you want to hear about that, you're in the right place. If you are struggling with a food addiction, I really encourage you to be open to handling that as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I have a brother. One of my brothers just passed away 2 days ago, and it's still pretty fresh. And he was eating too much at the very end. My mom told me he was eating everything in sight. He was also drinking and smoking. He was way too young to have heart disease. He just had a lot of health issues. And for the last year, he's been battling in and out of the hospital. So just, going to the hospital, getting medications, getting out of the hospital, going back in. I mean, it was just awful. So that was like the saddest day of my life. So the reason I mention that is I want to convey how serious it is to get your eating under control. I wish that I would have sent him the first video that I made on food addiction. I didn't really think to send it to him because he was struggling so much. I don't know, it didn't dawn on me to send it, but now I kind of wish I had sent it to him. Maybe it would have made a difference. I don't know. When I was making that first video, God was telling me, share the video. It's gonna save someone's life. So I don't know, but it is what it is. It's really, really sad. My family was super sad. All my siblings were sad. There was 5 of us growing up. Now there's 4 of us. So it sucks, but anyway, I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna bless his spirit and his soul, and may he rest in peace. I wish I could have done more to help him. I wish that I would have been a more compelling person for him to listen to, because I did try to help him, but sometimes family members don't listen. Family of origin often don't listen. So we can't force them to change. We can't force them to help themselves. But anyway, your health is such a gift, and a lot of people don't really notice it until it's gone, until there's a problem. And eating is at the root of it, because when you overeat and you binge eat and you have all kinds of eating disorders or patterns or habits, whatever you want to call it, that is at the root of all health issues, all health conditions. Most of us are eating too much sugar. I'm specifically talking about cane sugar, as well as artificial sweeteners, and that creates so much havoc on the body, and you could be at risk at dying. I mean, all of us are going to die at some point, but if you can control what you put into your mouth, what you ingest, you can change your whole life. Like, everything will change. So for me, I know this to be true because I did it once before. The first time I did a full cut, I lost 28 pounds. And this second time around, I gained more weight, but now I'm down 17 pounds from my highest weight. So the weight's coming right off, and it's amazing. It's amazing to feel that and to see that happening. So let's talk about the solution. What actually helped me stop binge eating and ordering restaurant food and giving my money away to this drug dealer, aka the Italian restaurant that I could swear they were putting some kind of drug in their food. It was probably just like artificial ingredients. The point is, I was emotionally vulnerable and weak and spiritually agitated such that I turned to this food. Let's talk about what actually got me to stop. So let me take you back to August 2024. 2024 was a really good year financially for me. It was my second highest year ever, but it was a difficult year because of the copywriting clients that I was working with. They were really difficult. All of them were difficult in different ways. And I had trouble dealing with my emotions with some of those clients. And I had injuries. I had problems with my own health and my own body. Like, I was in pain. And this is weird because I had never experienced that before. So the solution, what got me to stop overeating? It started with searching on YouTube for hypnosis video to help with binge eating. I just typed in something like that, like hypnosis for binge eating, and a video popped up. I listened to this hypnosis video and an idea got implanted in my mind, and I wanted it to take root. I wanted it to get nurtured in my mind so that it would start to grow and it would start to take over my thinking and my feeling and my actions. And it worked. It did. And the hypnosis worked. It started a process. So it wasn't the only thing that I did, but it started something. And I think it's very important to train our mind to ruminate on positive, healthy ideas, because whatever we hold in our mind for extended periods of time is eventually going to be reflected in our external physical reality. And so whatever was said in this hypnosis video, it must have worked, because I started to not want the restaurant food as much. Didn't cure everything overnight, because there were still times that I was ordering it, but it seemed to decrease my desire for the restaurant food. So that's the first thing that I noticed. The second thing is I went to the library. Sometimes I go to the library. It's like this ancient thing of society. Dan and I sometimes go to the library and I just pick up random books. I kind of look through everything that they have, and then I see what jumps out at me and I'll take it home. I'll take home like 10 to 15 books, and I won't read any of them except for maybe one or two. And I always pay attention to the dust jacket, the back cover description of the book, and the table of contents, and like maybe skim through one chapter, the first chapter, to see if the writing looks good. So one of the books that I picked up was called Food Triggers, and I will link that below as well. So this book was interesting because the author brought in God as part of the solution for overeating and binge eating. She brought in prayer. She brought in this idea that if you're unable to control your eating, it's a spiritual issue and you need God's help. You just can't do it on your own. So it's probably similar to what Alcoholics Anonymous is all about. I haven't actually ever done that, so I don't know, but I've heard that there's some idea of like surrendering, admitting your sin and releasing it and letting God come in and purify your heart and your thinking. So there was that theme going on in this book, Food Triggers. And I remember just reading it and certain lines jumped out at me. Like you eat your dessert or whatever, you hide it from people, and you don't go to social events because you're so embarrassed about your food, your eating, your weight. And so you kind of just hide it. And there were certain lines that she wrote that just spoke to me. It felt a little like a call out. And I like that. When I'm ready for the call out, I like that. So it was exactly what I needed to hear. So I would recommend reading Food Triggers. This idea of calling upon God to help you with your food, right? Because why are you overeating? Why are you binge eating? What is the hole in your heart or your soul that you're trying to fill through food? The author was saying God can fill that instead, and he can do it in a much better, more effective way than food could. Excess food. We're talking specifically about excess food. You know, eating for 2 people, 3 people, 4 people in one day, and you're not pregnant, you're not eating for a baby that's being formulated in your belly. You're eating for like 2, 3, 4 people, but you're one person because something hurts, because something makes you uncomfortable, afraid. So it's about getting to the root of that emotional, spiritual hunger that you're feeling and understanding that God can fill that. If you're someone who doesn't like the word God, I used to be that person. I used to be squeamish around the word God. And I got over it because I started reading the Bible and it changed my heart. But if that word makes you squeamish, start with a different word. Start with universe. Start with whatever word makes you comfortable. I'm not attached to you having a specific perception of God, okay? So please don't let that trigger you or make you mad or make you not hear this message. But this idea of surrendering, like, okay, I'm just gonna release. I'm releasing it all back to you. It's like, God, what is your purpose for me? What do you want me to do with my life, with my day? You don't want me to harm my body with this excess food, with this unhealthy eating pattern. What do you want me to do instead? So you have to find something to fill that void with that's empowering and purposeful. So we have hypnosis, video, food triggers book, purpose. So you're finding something, you're figuring out what is it that you should be spending your time on instead of eating the extra meal in the evening or whenever you tend to do that. What should you be spending your time on instead? You can be working on your purpose. You can be studying a topic that fascinates you. You can be enriching your career, your business. You can be improving your skills. You can be doing something where you're practicing a skill. You can be doing all kinds of things instead of overeating and binge eating. Now, if you don't want to fill that time with action that's more aligned with your purpose, the other option is you can practice sitting and just being with whatever you're feeling. And that's what I would do. I would set a daily goal that in the evening, I would practice feeling whatever feelings were coming up for me. Whether it was frustration about something, boredom, anger, even happiness, even like excess joy. That sometimes was a trigger for me to go overeat because it's like I wanted to celebrate. So being with your feelings, allowing yourself to actually feel what is going on in you, not thinking, I'm talking specifically about an emotion, like a feeling in your body, your emotions. Instead of running away from what you're feeling, instead of distracting yourself, instead of escaping, feeling what you're feeling, and then feeling it fully and then letting it pass through you, letting it move through you. That was something that helped me. That was something that worked for me. So that's number 4, being with your feelings. The next thing was life smacked me in the face. God smacked me in the face with a 2x4 because I wasn't listening for the previous 3 years when he was telling me to stop. I wasn't listening. So I got bitch slapped. Okay. I lost a big client in my copywriting business, and it was out of nowhere. I was like kind of expecting it because of a video that I heard amongst the team that I wasn't supposed to hear, where they were talking about financial problems in their company. And this was a year and a half prior to that. So in the back of my mind, I was like, oof, this client could disappear at any time, so I'm not going to take them for granted. I'm just going to do my best, whatever. So I was kind of expecting it to happen at some point, but it didn't happen until like a year and a half later. And finally, they let me go. And it's like, okay, God took away my funding. He's like, I'm going to force you to stop ordering restaurant food because I'm just going to take away your funding. Like, that's it. So that's one way that you can change. I would not recommend doing that. I would not recommend waiting until God or the universe bitch slaps you. I would change before that happens because it's painful. So I lost my funding. And along with that, I was very humbled because bills started piling up, debts started piling up. It was just bad. I was surviving off of savings. I was surviving off of loans, and then everything ran out. And then I was surviving off of Dan paying for me, which is weird to me. I know that the man is, the man can be the provider, but it's weird to me because I've never subscribed to that my whole life. So it could be that God was telling me, hey, let your man provide for you during this time. But it like hurt my ego. I was like, I want to contribute to my household financially. I love doing that. I love making money and I love paying bills and I love buying stuff. I love spending money, but it's like I was being humbled and God was directing me to kind of lean on my man. So that was painful. That's painful for my ego. I would rather not. I would rather stick with the 50-50 scenario that we had for so long, for years, because I liked it. So that was hard for me. This is all about God redirecting me to something else, to something better, to something that He had a vision for me, but I didn't. So there's some adjusting there. So number 6 was rely on my man financially. Is that a strategy that worked? I feel like I didn't choose that though. It was kind of like forced upon me because of my own ignorance and my own drug addiction, aka food addiction for 3 years that I tolerated. So in a way, yeah, I did choose that. That's like the ultimate consequence of my actions for 3 years. So I can't be mad at anything or anyone other than myself. Okay, number 7, there was another bitch slap from the universe, but this time it was physical. I had a massive injury. I was jogging with Dan outside one day in April. We were about 95% of the way done with the jog, and then I tripped and I completely just busted my knee, my left knee and my right shoulder. I completely biffed it. Fell on my knee on the sidewalk and like caught myself with my hand, but that like pulled something or tore something. The injury happened in late April and boom, I could not walk. I could barely walk. I forced myself to walk because I'm tough like that, but it was painful to walk even 1 block. So I didn't go to the gym for 2 days, and that was probably the most painful thing, that I could not go to the gym. I didn't go to a doctor. I really don't believe in hospitals, doctor, pharma. There's so much demonic shit going on in that whole system. I want no part of it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to heal this injury on my own. Naturally, it's going to take a while. Fine, I will do it. I iced my knee and my shoulder every single day. I elevated my knee, my leg. It hurt to like put on a shirt because of my shoulder. I could barely do that for the longest time. But I forced myself to go to the gym 2 days after my injury and just do extremely light elliptical work on level 1, no resistance at all. And that hurt like hell, but I did it, and I did it for like 10 minutes and then spent the rest of the time in the sauna. So the universe, God, bitch slapped me again with this injury. Looking back at it, if I had weighed less, maybe I could have caught myself. Maybe I could have landed lighter. I don't know. But that injury was devastating. It hurt so bad physically, but it also hurt emotionally because I couldn't move. I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do, and I felt trapped. I felt massively stuck. So it was painful, emotionally and physically. So that's one of those life events that happens to you where it's kind of like a curveball and it just derails you, and it's so painful. So that can be something that you wait for to happen to you, which again, I would not recommend it, but that is something that helped me stop binge eating because first of all, I was in so much regret of having not gone to the gym every day when I had the opportunity and the ability to do so. I was kicking myself because now I really wanted to go to the gym, but I couldn't. I wanted to do a hard, full-out workout, and I couldn't. I had to take it very easy and very light, and that was painful to me. I had to not go intense like I wanted to. So it was just this massive perspective change of realizing, wow, don't ever not go to the gym every day. Don't ever waste a day where you're not moving your body. So that was the lesson that I learned. The final thing that helped me stop the binge eating pattern was I had a new client on my macro program. It's not something that I really advertise anywhere. I just do it if people ask me, hey, can you help me with my macros? Can you help me drop fat off my body? Can you help me lose weight, whatever their goal is. So it's a program that I do when someone wants it. I love coaching people on that. It's kind of a fun side thing that I do in addition to my copywriting. So a macro client came out of nowhere and I started working with this person, and that motivated me to start going to the gym every day. So this was about a month after my injury. So I was getting better. Things kind of still hurt, but I was like, okay, I got to go to the gym every day because who wants someone to coach them on their macros who's not in shape and not healthy and not fit? So it motivated me a lot. And I'm so grateful that that client showed up out of nowhere, perfect timing, to guide me out of my bad habits that had culminated up into this point where I was injured, I lost all my funding, and I was just at ground zero, and I was surrendering, right, to God. So having a client motivated me to take care of myself. Like, imagine that. So thank you to that client. You know who you are. So that's the solution. Those are the things that I did that helped me stop my food addiction. Oh yeah, there was one more thing. I mentioned on part 1 of the video that I took berberine, a supplement. I took it for 2 weeks, but it gave me a stomach ache every day. So I would not recommend, I actually don't recommend it. You should do your own research if you want to take it. I just randomly heard about it from somewhere and I was like, I might as well try it, but I don't recommend it because it did have side effects. It made my stomach hurt. I only took it for 2 weeks. You should not be taking it long term. From what I understand, it's actually an antibiotic, but it's a supplement. It is a fad supplement where people are using it to lose weight. Just don't take it long term. If you're going to take it at all, take it very, very short term. For me, I was like, I'm done. After 2 weeks, I could not stand the stomach aches anymore. So I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying that's something that I did that it seems to have changed my gut. I feel like it killed all the bad bacteria. It changed my taste to where I didn't want to eat extra food at night. I wasn't hungry. So maybe it works. Maybe it would work for you, but again, I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying I used it for 2 weeks. Dan recently took one the other day. He wanted to try it. And I'm like, don't try it. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's like safe. But he tried it and he got a stomach ache too. So I don't know what it's doing to the gut, but and it could have been just all this other stuff that I was doing where it finally clicked. And maybe it was that. Maybe it was the berberine. Hard to say because I was doing so many different things at once, but something clicked, something changed, and I actually ordered the restaurant food, the calzone, all of that stuff. I ordered it one more time in this house, and it tasted gross to me. It was not good. And I'm like, ooh, did they change their recipe? Or is it me? I just don't like their food anymore. And a weird thing happened. The delivery guy had trouble finding our house. He called me. I missed it, but he left a voicemail that was the weirdest voicemail I've ever heard in my life. He sounded like a crack addict. And he's just like, yeah, I'm having trouble finding your house. Can you give me a call? I think he thought he hung up, but he was still talking. And he's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? In a New York accent or something. But it was weird. It was like a 2-minute long voicemail. And I'm just listening to this like, is this the guy that's been delivering me my food this whole time? I'm never ordering from this place again. So that also motivated me to stop eating the restaurant food and stop binge eating. It was kind of funny. It was weird, but it turned me off to ever giving that restaurant business ever again. And it's what I needed. I needed that to be like repelled from this restaurant. So thank you, delivery guy, for that weird voicemail. It actually helped me. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Let me know what you're struggling with if you have a food addiction. This was plaguing my life. This destroyed my copywriting business almost entirely. This was a drug addiction. This almost killed me, right? Go watch the first video and you'll hear about the symptoms that I had. Scary, way too young for any of that. So I wish I would have taken it seriously sooner. I wish I would have found these solutions sooner, but timing is interesting. It is what it is. That was my journey. I had to go through it to gain empathy and awareness and understand, oh, okay, fat, overweight, obese people actually are in deep pain for some specific reason. And maybe I can help them with that. But now I understand the pain. Now I understand addiction. I've never been addicted to anything. And it's like, now I understand what it feels like to be addicted to something and you just want more of it and you can't stop yourself despite wanting to. So thank you guys for watching and listening. And yeah, let me know your comments.